Hello, this is Glen Guyton, your diversity and inclusion keynote speaker, helping you to manage generational and cultural differences in the workplace so that you can have a more productive and a more collaborative work environment. And today I am going to be talking about managing generations in the workplace, something we need to pay attention to, managing generations in the workplace, because now at this day and age, we can have up to 5, say that with me, 5 generations all working in the workplace. And if you have to manage all of these generations, I know sometimes it's not easy. I get the phone calls. I get the messages. Glenn, what am I going to do with these millennials? I can't take it. I can't take it. And millennials always get a bad rap. I don't know why millennials get a bad rap. I like millennials. I have many good millennial friends, maybe because I'm Gen X, so I'm just one generation removed from them. I do have children, so one child is not a millennial. She's right on the border, right? She's kind of like millennial Gen Z. It's just kind of every now and then she shifts over to that millennial world, and I have to deal with it. But I love millennials. You should love millennials too, because now they're getting old. That's what I tell people. Millennials are getting old. They're like in their mid-30s now, so they're not babies anymore. They're not kids. They can take it. They can take a licking and keep on ticking. So I'm going to tell you though some of the things that you need to know if you have all of these generations in your workplace. Well, let's talk a little bit about who these generations are. So I have my handy dandy little guide here. You can't have that yet, but I'm going to look at it as I talk to you. So we have traditional, so those people that were born before 1946. Some of those people are still working. We have good health care. They need their benefits. They're still holding on. They're still in the workplace. We have our baby boomers who were born between 1946 and 1961. And these numbers will change based on who is talking, but they're going to be close enough. Everybody that's kind of on the ends, people on the end kind of could fit into either generation. Then we have Gen X. That's me, baby. Gen X, yes, born from 1962 to 1977. I say that we are the greatest generation, Gen X. Shout out to all my Gen X people there. Hey, and by the way, I forgot to say this. Can you subscribe? Hit that subscribe button for me as we celebrate Gen X. And we have our millennials. So they were born between 1978 and 1993. Those are the millennials. Some go up to 1996. So it depends on who's doing the data, who's writing up the charts. But I would say that pretty much after 1996, 1995, those would be Gen Z. And so those would be people like my kids. They are the next generation, and they're working. My son is 18 years old. He's in college, and so he could very well be in your workforce. I have a daughter that was born in the late 90s, and she is in the workforce. So 5 generations in the workforce competing, trying to manage and trying to lead each other. And baby boomers are kind of still in charge, and a lot of organizations, they're kind of on their way out. They haven't quite retired yet, but they're still there. And so what do we need to know? What are some important things as we think about managing these generations in the workplace? Well, first of all, you have to think about what formed these people. The traditionalists, they want you to use plain language, who, what, and when, and how. They're very straightforward. You do what you say, you say what you mean, that type of communication. They love written communication, so they want you to write everything out, right? You have to write everything out. Everything is very formal, and they like to just be straight to the point and to business. Baby boomers, a little bit different, kind of similar, all right? So, they didn't grow up with the technology, just like the traditionalists. They didn't have the technology. I mean, they had telephones. They know how to use email. But they're still kind of limited. They had to learn technology later on in life. They do like direct communication. They ask a lot of questions. Straightforward business. Again, no frills. You come to work, you do your work, you stay focused. What are the goals? What are we going to achieve? How do we get there? Let's press forward. Those are baby boomers. Then you have Gen X. So what do Gen Xers like typically? We like to communicate. We like to have fun. We are digital people. Kind of we came in right in the middle, right. We had computers in college. A lot of us did. So we know email. We know we were there when MTV came to be. We were there with the birth of the internet. Thank you, Al Gore, or whoever created the internet. I don't know. Was it Al Gore really? Was it really? So we were there. So we kind of adapted to this. We were crossing a bridge between the analog and the digital world, so we can kind of communicate both ways. We're very independent because our parents were off working, left us at home by ourselves. So we're independent. We know how to do our business. And, we're vocal. We'll speak up for the things that we need to speak up to. But we also will be able to sit back and listen. We can appreciate some of the things that the baby boomers did. Then you have your millennials. So they were the first ones that were just kind of born with this technology. So they had the cell phones. They had the computers. They don't know a world that is any different. They're used to communicating in these short snippets, short bursts of information. They do believe in like equality, like they can just talk to you like you are their peer. It's no like, because you're 65, I have to talk to you different. No, I talk to you the same if you're 65, if you're 5, if you're 55. That's how we communicate with one another. And they also are, people say a little bit entitled. I don't know if they're entitled. I think they just ask a lot of questions. They've been more involved and more engaged with their parents and have communicated with authority figures a lot differently than we did if we were from Gen X on up. And then you have the wonderful Gen Zs who are entering the workforce. They are just totally engaged and locked into these cell phones. They would probably rather use their cell phones than a computer. They have learned on technology so they can absorb information very well in the digital medium where some of us kind of have to translate some of those things. They are also independent. I think they're a little bit more independent than the millennials, but they do want to be appreciated for the work that they do. So just think about that. So different communication styles, different things that formed each of these groups. You think about the kids that were born during 9/11, they've entered into a world where they had to worry about terrorism and some other things that we never had to worry about. They were born, 2008 was the economic collapse of our nation. And so some of the things that we thought were going to be stable and forever when we were growing up, or I would say Gen Xers on up, were growing up, aren't as guaranteed for the younger generation. So for the millennials or for the Gen Z. So take those things into consideration. Yeah, they may be a little bit more anxious than us, but they're worried about recessions. They're worried about the job security. They're worried about baby boomers and Gen Xers staying in their positions for a long time. We don't move on out of our working roles as much as we did before. I do think some of the millennials and some of the Zs in particular will be a little bit more entrepreneurial. So take advantage of that creativity. They do know how to use the digital medium in a way that can be effective. They're a lot more transparent. They're a lot more in touch with what their peers are doing, and you can really leverage their online lifestyle profile to the benefit of your company. So don't be afraid of it. Don't say, why are they putting so much information out? No, you just have to have clear guidelines for the use of social media and things like that at work, and give them some advice on what to post and what not to post. And I think that creates a healthy work environment. They may not be as they may not like to be, they may want to be more transparent than you're comfortable with, and you just have to communicate that. Just be straightforward. Also, make sure you take the time to go and interact and engage in less formal types of ways. Not that they want to hang out with you and be your buddy, but you may incorporate some social things during work time, not on their personal time, but during work time that will provide you additional benefits if you have that generational diverse workforce. So just, hey, if you are older and and supervision, don't be afraid, don't get frustrated, but just change how you communicate. It's very important that we learn how to communicate across our differences, that we feel free to ask questions, and that we're a little bit more transparent as we try to interact with people from various generations. I know that you can do it. Just like you learned how to use a cell phone and computers and all these other things, if you are part of the older generation, you can effectively manage these varying generations in the workplace. And if you are a younger worker, if you're a younger person looking at this video, hey, continue to ask questions. Understand that some of the older worker supervisors may take a little while to get there. You may have to show them a little bit more formal respect than you would like, but it will go a long way to helping them to relax and opening up dialogue so that you can get the things that you need as you work in this workforce. So thank you so much. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Go check out my webpage, glenguyton.com, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.